Tom for hosting our program. My name is Shannon Terry. I am the Public Information Officer for Otter County, and we hope that this show is an opportunity for residents to gain some information about the county and know that they can engage if they have questions or concerns. The contact information will be shown throughout the program. And today we have Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Wayne Johnson. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. I'm looking forward to it. So it's good to come and engage with our citizens, engage with you, and let them know a little bit about Otter County and what we're up to.
So maybe we can start there. Could you let us know how many commissioners there are, and really what is the role of a county commissioner?
There are 5 commissioner districts in Otter County, and that's standard for most counties in Minnesota. The metro counties typically will have 7 county commissioners, and they actually have staff and those kinds of things, and most of the time for them it becomes a full-time job. Rural counties, Otter County and the rest of the counties around, typically it's a kind of a part-time job. It's actually ends up, I think as a county board, we spend probably 2.5 days a week taking care of county business. Sometimes that's evenings, sometimes that's weekends, sometimes that's during the day. It just kind of varies, but at the end of the day, I've kind of tracked my time, and that's kind of the commitment that we involved in. What do we do? Wow, that's a big, diverse question. We are in charge of, we talked about earlier, we're in charge of all the county ditches in the county. We are in charge of overseeing the entire county operation, whether that be Health and Human Services, whether that be our roads and infrastructure. We try to do economic development and make sure that the county's not in the way, that we encourage economic development. We, the county board, are placed in charge of all of the natural resources. The DNR manages the waters and things like that, but at the end of the day, we're responsible for all of the natural resources within the county. So the job description is broad and diverse, and really not the same every day by any means. At the county board level, we'll get everything from A to Z coming in the door to have a conversation with us. They've got concerns, they've got ideas. We encourage all of that. We'd like people to come to the meetings, come to us as county commissioners. We want to know what the citizens of the county are concerned about, and actually that gets towards our long-range planning program that's later in the program. You know, and all the county board, the other thing that is kind of unique about the county board, especially Otter County, we have districts, which is where we're elected out of, but to a person, we care about and take care of the entire county. I get calls from other commissioner districts, and they get calls from mine, you know, so it isn't like, well, I'm sorry, this is the border and you're over there. We kind of make sure that we're doing everything for the entire county that we can do. So it's a vast, interesting position to be on the county board.
And I think that you have shown that the commissioners work for the entire county through the long-range strategic planning, and you've really made that a priority as a board. Could you tell us a little bit about what this is? Sure.
You know, the long-range strategic plan. So the view of the board really is that, and the view of many of us is that without a plan, we really don't know where we're going and what we're doing. We are, this board in particular, and I've been on there now for 7 years. This board in particular likes to engage our citizens. We want to know what they think. We go out to them for a transportation plan. I think we had a dozen engagement sessions with the public wanting to know just what they thought about our transportation. The same for our long-range planning efforts. We are looking at what do the citizens see as opportunities? What do the citizens see as challenges, as potentially problems that we're dealing with now? How do we avoid them? How do we move forward? So that we can set a framework and a structure in front of us that kind of, when this county board is gone, so we're looking at a 25-year long-range strategic plan. What does that look like? Don't know yet. You know, that's going to be the citizens that drive that. And so what's important to them is going to be what's important to us. But it'll set a structure for everyone to kind of put in place so that, okay, when things come up, or yes, we actually thought about that, and maybe 10 years from now somebody will say, well, that's not important anymore. You know, I'll pick on broadband. You know, broadband's done. You know, I mean, we've got fiber to every door, we've got all those kinds of things. So now that's no longer a strategic issue, and you know, it's an opportunity that we've taken care of. And so maybe that'll come off of the long-range plan, and something else will go on there. You know, that we need to start being thoughtful about what happens with the quote-unquote gray tsunami. You know, what's happening with our population that's aging, and how is that affecting Otter Tail County, and what does that mean to us? So it's an attempt to look forward, to be thoughtful about the future, to set ourselves up for success in the future, and those kinds of things.
So it's a long-range plan, but it'll have that flexibility and definitely have public input.
Yeah, I know the goal right now, and it's kind of in its infancy, we're just putting together some focus groups, we're putting together, there's a citizen advisory committee that it's going to have about 25 people from different areas of the county, different segments of the economy, those kinds of things, that are really going to steer the ship. I go back to the transportation plan that we did, Shannon. We as county board members were kind of the management team, but at the end of the day, we sat back in the back of the room. We had some meetings of okay, what do you see, and those things. And we basically sat back in the back of the room and listened to what the citizens on the advisory committee thought was good, was bad, how to move forward, those kinds of things. And at the end of the day, it's the citizens' county. It's not the county board's county. It's the citizens' county. You know, just like I look at it as, it's not the county's money. It's the citizens' money. We're just charged with taking care of it, making sure we're responsible with it, and things like that. And I think as long as we keep looking back to the citizens and saying, what do you want? What do you see as the future of Otter Tail County 25 years from now? As long as we kind of keep that in focus, because it is their place to live. It is their place to work. It is their place to recreate and those things. So what do you want in the future? You know, to be honest, 25 years from now, if I'm still above ground, I'll be 82 years old. The county will be my children and grandchildren's. I'll be a resident here. I'll always be a resident here. I always have been a resident here. But at the end of the day, we're not doing this for the next 2 years. We're doing this for the long range, to get a vision of where our citizens want to be and where they want to go.
So even though there's a plan, nothing is really finalized until citizens will even look over the plan. Residents will have that say, so you can propose this plan, but it won't be final until residents will have this plan. So with the transportation plan, Rick West took that plan to several communities and said, what do you think of this plan? Here is the plan. And so again, nothing was really finalized until the people of Otter Tail County had their voice.
You're absolutely right. You know, at the end of the day, we're putting together the structure. We hope to, you know, there's a lot of plan areas. There is, well, let's see, there's housing, there's economic development, there's water resources, there's land use, there's transportation, which we've done a good job on. Parks and trails, we've done some work in the parks and trails and have a trail master plan. And there's natural resources, and so those are all phases of the potential plan. Are we going to address all of them? I don't know. That's going to be the citizens' choice. If you address all of them, I think it becomes really a large task, and that's quite a commitment for the citizens to be involved in. So I think it's going to get narrowed down. Where it's going to get narrowed down, that's the citizens' choice. That's the people who come and share with us their view. You know, I believe this county board looks at the county and says, you know, we're trying to do what the citizens want us to do. We're not trying to do what we think is best. Sometimes we have to make those decisions. You know, this is what, with the information I have, this is the decision I think is best. But at the end of the day, especially in this long range planning, we need to hear from everyone. I know we're looking at focus groups. And one of the things we discussed yesterday was, in a committee meeting, was we would like to engage the high school students as a
Great
focus
idea.
group. You know, why? Well, 25 years from now, those high school students, they'll be in the middle of their lives and their careers and their families. And what do they want to see? What do they hear around their dinner table as issues for their mom and dad? You know, because to be honest, to get working people that have, you know, husband and wife have jobs, they have lives, they have school, they have, their kids are active, you know, all of those things, to get them to come to some meetings is going to be challenging. They're busy. And so what we're hoping to do is kind of see through the lens of their children what their lives are like, what their challenges are, those things. Like the transportation plan, we went over to Perham and said, okay, what are the freight challenges in Perham? Because Perham has so much industry and those things, they have a unique challenge over there transportation-wise. Well, there are other areas of our county that have unique challenges. Well, we want to know about those. Can we address them all? Probably not. But if we know about them, you know, then at least we can be thoughtful, and the steering committee can be thoughtful about, okay, how does this play into our long-range plans? What do we need to address? What do we need to make sure we don't fall into a pitfall that we've fallen into before? You know, learn from our past is part of it. You know, in the past we've done this. The citizens don't want us to do that anymore, or don't like it or whatever. Well, then let's figure out a way to guide ourselves away from that. So it's a really global idea that the goal is to narrow it down, to focus it down, and then to put in place a structure that people can, long after this county board is gone, that other county boards can look at and go, well, this is in 2018 or 2019 or whatever, this is what the citizens thought, this is what they wanted, and this is what they set out for goals back then. 10 years from now, they can, you know, hopefully, our plan is every couple of years we're going to go to the citizens. We do it with transportation and say, okay, this is kind of the strides we've made towards the goals. What do you think about that? If the citizens say, well, we'd like to change, we don't think that's important anymore, okay, then let's redefine. But at least we'll have the structure there. At least we'll have a plan that, if it's anything like life, I can plan all I want, but every once in a while things come up. You know, so I mean, so that's really what we're after. But the biggest piece of that, from my perspective, is the citizen engagement. You know, we don't work in a vacuum. The county board doesn't work in a vacuum. We need to have input from our citizens. And without that, I know I have my ideas, but that's one person's ideas. You know, we really are looking forward to getting those focus groups to be involved, and then developing this subcommittee or steering committee of around 25 people to kind of guide us through where they see Otter Tail County going economically, environmentally. Housing is a big challenge for us right now. What do they see as opportunities? What do they see as challenges? And potentially, what do they see as fixes? You know, there's a lot of really smart people out there, and we want to tap into that knowledge and use it for our own good, for the county's whole good.
So Commissioner Johnson, if a member of the public and our viewers want to get involved, what recommendations would you have? How can they get involved?
Pay attention to your media. You know, we will be announcing public engagement forums. Right now there are I think 8 planned. There's 4 planned in the 4 corners of the county. Right now we're thinking Henning or Parker's Prairie. We're thinking Perham. We're thinking Fergus Falls. And we're thinking Pelican Rapids. We kind of did that with transportation. We picked some of the major hubs so that people didn't have to travel a long distance to come and engage with us. So we're kind of gonna go around the county and do some of those things. We're gonna be asking some people that we know are either community leaders or leaders of their group, whether that be I'll pick on Pelican Rapids. They have a place called the Welcome Place where people come in. We're going to probably go and ask the Welcome Place, is there someone that is involved with your community, that knows what's going on in your community. And we're going to do that for every community, and we're going to do that for the townships. And we're going to ask a lot of people, okay, is there someone that you think would be good to come? Or if people feel that they would be good, that they have a vision for the future, that those things, please contact us. Contact your commissioner, contact me, contact Shannon. Rick West is our public works director. He's kind of guiding the ship right now, just putting together the names and the list and those things. And if you don't want to be in a committee, we're probably looking at 5 meetings in the next year to 18 months. And you'll get emails, or you'll get information and those things that you'll be asked to look through and kind of think about. But at the end of that, the commitment is done. If you don't want to commit to something like that or whatever, then at least please come to our public engagements. It's critical that you come, that you share your thoughts. Otherwise, we're kind of working in a vacuum. The county board can't be everywhere. I've got 10,000 residents in my district, and 468 square miles, 13 townships, 4 cities. I don't know everybody. I know a lot of them, but I don't know everybody. And so we need to hear from people. We need to know what's going on in their communities, whether their community is, Freiburg Township, or whether they're, Erdall Township, or whether their community is Earhart or Perham or Vergus or whatever it is. We need to hear from those people, because again, it's the citizens' county. It's not the county board's county. It's the citizens' county. We're just kind of chosen to guide it as best we can.
And you said this is long range, it's strategic, which means there's a process to this, and we want people to be involved in that process. And maybe if someone would look at the transportation plan, they could get an idea of what other plans will look like. Would that be something that...
Very much so. The transportation plan is posted on our website. That's the easiest way to access it. You can go there and just pull it down. Actually, the trail master plan is another thing. We've set up corridors. We set up structure on how to do those kinds of things. Similarly here, not only do you look at vision, okay, so if we eventually will develop vision of what the citizens want for Otter Tail County. Mm-hmm. But then once you have a vision, there'll also be steps in the plan of implementation. How do you get there? You can have all kinds of ideas on what you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a process to step through and have a way to get to where you want to go, if I want to go to retirement someday, or if I want to do something, you have to have a plan put together, and you have to have steps, and you have to be able to measure it. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be part of the plan. It's not going to be just, in a perfect world we're going to do this. It's actually going to be, okay, this is what the citizens want. How do we get there? How do we thoughtfully take steps and go through and get to where, how do we help housing? How do we make sure that the environment is protected? Because at the end of the day, 27% of Otter Tail County as a whole is lakes. We need to make sure we protect them. That's what makes part of Otter Tail County a great place to live, work, and play. And so, but we also need to be thoughtful of agriculture is a big driver in our county. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure that agriculture thrives and survives. And they have to work together. We can't choose one over the other. We need to make sure that we're thoughtful about the future of all of those things and how they fit together as we move forward.
Well, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Otter Tail Telecom. And thank you, viewers. And if you have comments or questions, please visit our website or give us a call. We'll have contact information throughout the show. And Otter Tail County, live your best life here.